Today we're going to be introducing Adobe Flash, and we're going to be following this handout that everybody should have called Project 4, Creating a Mini Lesson Movie. You should notice Flash at the very bottom. It's the FL in red. Everybody go ahead and open that up. For the upcoming assignments, I'm going to send y'all some files that I'm going to need you to copy to your 5th 6 weeks folder. So I'm going to copy that over real quick. And I want you to copy that when it comes up into your 5th 6 weeks folder. It says Project 4 Mini Lesson Movie. Copy it to your 5th 6 weeks folder. Okay, so over the next few days, we're going to learn how to create a simple animation, create text animation, create sound clips, learn how to export your Flash animation. So we're going to make an interactive Spanish lesson with buttons and sounds and animation all together. When you open up Adobe Flash, you have your interface here, create from template, where it has some preset sizes and settings. You can create new action script 2, 3. You also got some tutorials over here. We're on page 119, step-by-step 4.1, exploring the Flash interface. So we're going to start Flash. Notice the title bar at the top of the window. The title bar displays the documents, the title. Here, let's create a new action script 2.0. Everybody see this right here? So click action script 2.0. We're not doing 3 because these instructions are a little bit older, so we're going to follow the old action script. So create new action script 2.0. We got the title bar here. It displays the document's title right here. And when you start, it says Untitled 1. When you save this file, this Untitled 1 will be the document name right there in that tab. On the next page, you got your Flash window. Now, the first thing I want you to do to get your interface to look like mine and like the instructions, I want you to go Window, Workspace, Classic. Window, Workspace, Classic. Workspace is at the bottom, by the way. Window, Workspace, Classic. Now we got the timeline at the top, and you got the stage at the bottom. So up here is the timeline, stage is at the bottom. If you click through all the different menus, you get a general idea of the different selections and locations of different actions that you can do using the software. These menus contain many of the design elements and manipulation functions. Let's locate the stage, which is right here. This is the stage. You can specify how big or how small you want this stage. You can specify if you want it to be white or any other color. When you export it, anything outside of the stage is not going to show up. It's kind of like your artboard in Illustrator. When you export your Illustrator file, any of the drawing that's outside of the artboard will not show up in the JPEG or GIF file. So the stage contains all the elements that make up a Flash document. It defines the border of the final file you create with the SWF file, which is the exported version of your Flash that's playable for anybody to play and see. The contents of the stage reflect the current frames of the timeline. Now let's locate the timeline right here. This tab says Timeline. If you look on page 121 in figure 4-3, the timeline is a key organizational and navigational tool for your animations. Here, graphics are animated over time. You can coordinate the timing of the animation and assemble the artwork in separate layers on the timeline. The timeline displays each frame in the movie. You see each one of these boxes right here? You got 1 through 5, you got 5 through 10, 10 through 15, 10 through 20. You ever seen somebody draw an animation on a bunch of pages and flip the pages and it looks like it's animated? Well, that's kind of the way the timeline frames are. You can have like multiple layers. It flips through each frame like a page, and it shows it down here in the stage. So you can do some settings up here in the frames on how you want it to animate, and it displays on the stage down here. Let's go over a few things. On the timeline, you got the playhead, which shows you what frame you're on. So that's the playhead. You got the pencil icon, shows that's the one that you're editing. If you have multiple layers, the pencil icon shows on the one that you're editing. This is a empty keyframe. It's like an empty circle right there. I'll go on to more about what things go. Right here is the frame rate. 12 FPS. That's frames per second. That's how fast the playhead's going to play. If you do 12 frames per second during 1 second's time, it'll cover from 1 to 12. 12 to 24. That'd be 2 seconds. So you can set how fast or how slow you want it to animate. So if you want to slow it down, you slow the frames per second. Elapsed time. See, the playhead is on 10. The elapsed time is 0.8 seconds. If I press F5 to create another frame. So at this point, on frame 36, it's 2.9 seconds. So that tells you where in time you're at. Now you got a few other buttons. You got your onion skin button, which we'll talk about later. You got your frame number, which is right here, 36. See, if I type 5, playhead goes to 5. If you press F6, you create a keyframe. That's a blank keyframe. Once I draw something on the stage in that keyframe, it becomes solid. We'll talk more about that. So I'm going to Command Z and go back to where I was at the beginning. Just play around. You got your eye. Like if you disable it, like and you have multiple layers, you can't see what's in that layer on the stage. Just like in Photoshop or Illustrator, the timeline works with layers just like the layers palette in those software. You got the lock. If you don't want to accidentally change stuff on a layer, it's a good practice to lock. That's all we need to talk about at this point. The tools on the left side of the timeline coordinate the layers. You got transparent sheet. When you create a new movie, it contains one layer. So we got one layer here. You got the new layer button. You can click and add more layers. Or you can group layers. Let's say you got multiple characters that you're drawing, and you got like parts of a character. You got the hat, the clothes, the person, the arms, the legs. You might want to create a group folder and drag those layers in that folder so you can keep everything organized. And you can double click and name that folder. So you can add more layers to help organize your artwork, animation, and other elements in your movie. The following exercises are going to help you understand how frames and layers interact on the stage and how you can control them in the timeline.
Thank you all for watching.
Hey class, if you like this video, please click like below and subscribe to this channel. Also, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.